Morning, Duff here, and what you see behind me is Cindy's Hyundai Ioniq, and I'm going to be doing an oil change on the vehicle today. Normally we would, with this, I would probably advise her just to take it to the dealer, but we're going to be actually taking a road trip this upcoming weekend, so I want to make sure we got an oil change done, and didn't really feel like having to just make an appointment to go to the dealer, so I'm going to do the first one here. The car has, it's between like 2,000 and 3,000 miles on it, so it's not like it's high mileage yet. And I believe this uses synthetic oil, so you could probably go much longer before having to change the oil. But just for peace of mind, we're going to do it now anyway. So I read a little bit about the procedure online. I haven't seen any other videos about how to do it, so you can learn along with me. And this is the Ioniq Select. That's the trim level of this car. So first off, we need to locate the oil drain plug. So you may notice that I'm doing this oil change in the garage, which is highly unusual. I normally do them out in the driveway. As you can see, it's rather miserable outside. You can see how my property's been turned into a series of small ponds, thanks to a tropical depression that's in the Gulf of Mexico right now. My property's been underwater more often than not for the last two and a half months, and it gets rather frustrating, to put it mildly. Alright, so this is interesting. The whole bottom of the engine compartment is all buttoned up, has this smells, it's funny, that feels like, I don't know what that feels like. It feels like something that would not be used on a car, because it's kind of like, almost like feltish. So to get to the oil filter, you have three bolts holding the cover on there, and those are 10 millimeter, and to get to the oil drain plug is right here. And it looks like we have two 10 millimeter bolts to take off for that, so I guess I'll take them off. That's crazy, huh? I mean, with my Tacoma, I have a skid guard on it. I'm kind of surprised that the Ioniq has a cover over everything, because this isn't durable enough to be a skid plate of any sort. I'm not really sure what it's there for. Maybe aerodynamics? That's really the only thing I can guess. Alright. Okay. Comes out nice and easy. Let's take a look at what we got under here. Okay, drain plug's right there. I'm going to take out the oil filter cover as well. This material reminds me of what you would see on an interior of a car, like underneath the rug or something. That's what this reminds me of. I'm really baffled why this is on the exterior under the motor. These 10 millimeter bolts seem interchangeable between the oil drain plug cover and the oil filter cover, so I don't think you need to worry about keeping them separated. Okay, there you go. So, alright, and it looks like a standard filter. And obviously I don't want to make a big mess, so I'm going to probably try to maybe cup taking some tips off of some of my prior oil change videos from some commenters. I might try to put a funnel up here to kind of catch oil and drain it down so I don't get it on this material here at all. And you may notice you're sitting on some cardboard. I'm actually have some cardboard down to minimize oil spillage, so believe it or not, I do listen to suggestions once in a while. Alright. Oil drain plug, oil filter. Okay, the oil drain plug is a 17 millimeter socket. Let's see how tight this is. horribly tight. Guess that's good. It's not horribly tight, but I can't really back it out with my hand. Okay, now I can. So I'm just applying as much pressure as possible. And there it goes. Okay. This is supposed to take approximately 4 quarts of oil. 0W20. The expensive stuff. Move. Ugh. Really should have my safety goggles on. It does have a washer on it. It's in fine shape. I'm not going to replace the crush washer. Okay, it's pretty well drained. I need to get some crush washers for this to do future oil changes, I guess. But right, this one's it's totally fine. So I'm just going to reuse it. Trying to keep this felt material as clean as possible. Hopefully the lighting's alright. It's rather dark outside. Okay. You don't want to over tighten these things. I've never used a torque wrench for an oil bolt. I just snug it up firmly, but you don't want to like put a breaker bar on it and tighten it that much. Okay. So that's done. I didn't have really any problems with the oil messing up the felt material here. So now I got to move on to the filter. Actually, that hole might be big enough that I can get it down cleanly. I'm thinking. Okay. I have my handy dandy oil filter wrench. Let's see how tight this sucker is. Able to get it broken loose there. Okay, I have heard that this filter is used on Kias as well. I bought the Fram equivalent. Yes, some people say that they're not fans of Frams, but I have the Fram filter. Again, I did not feel like going to the dealer. Alright, so we're going to let this drain a little bit. I'm trying to minimize any oil collateral damage. I'm just turning it slowly, waiting for it to fully release so I can catch it and keep the canister upright as I lower it down. That's the plan. I don't want it to fall out. Okay, got it. Alright. Okay, so I'm looking for a part number on this thing. All I see is Hyundai Kia Motors. It looks like 26300-35504, if I'm reading that correctly. So I'm not sure if that's a part number or not, but I'll look it up and cross-reference it and see if it is. Oily gloves. Alright, but I was able to get that down without making a huge mess. Kind of see it in the hole right there. That's what you're looking at. Alright, so I'm just trying to wipe up excess oil, comparing the Fram, slippery, the Fram to the Hyundai filter. Size-wise, we're looking good. I'm going to put a thin bead of oil on the rubber gasket of the new filter. Do one final wipe up here. Spin this baby on. One thing I do like about the Fram filters is they have this grippy substance on the bottom of it that lets you really do a good job with your hand, just getting it hand tight. That's a big plus to me. I like that. And yes, I'll get some OEM filters for this eventually, but do not have those readily available to me. There's also a Purolator filter that you can get for this. If you like Purolators more, I'll post the part number for that in the video. Okay. I have it pretty tight with my hand. I'm just trying to give it a little bit more, maybe another quarter to a half a turn with the wrench. Okay, that feels pretty darn secure. Okay, so we should be done underneath the vehicle for now. I'm not going to put those covers back on until I refill the car with oil and check for leaks. Okay, we're now topside. The oil location, oil check and oil fill locations are very convenient on the Ioniq. Right there is your oil dipstick, right there is your oil fill hole. So I'm going to get my funnel and start filling. Okay, right in the oil fill hole there's like some sort of baffle, or I don't know what that's covering there, the valve train or something. So I can't really stick this down here and have it stay itself, so I'm going to have to kind of two-hand it stay, where I'm holding the funnel with one hand and pouring oil with the other. Like I said, this holds 4 quarts of oil approximately. So I'm going to put 3.5 quarts in and then back it off the ramps and fill it the rest of the way as needed. So again, you want to be very careful. You don't want to be spilling oil all over your nice new engine. I'm going to use the sight glass on the side of the oil container to estimate where 3.5 quarts is. This oil is so expensive. This 0W20 synthetic, it's so expensive. I think with this in the filter I spent almost $50. All right, so that's darn close to 3.5 quarts. So I'm going to one more shot. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Catch any oil coming out the end. I'm going to now put the oil cap back on, and then we're going to start it up, and we're going to look for leaks before we add more oil. Of course, we need the actual motor to start up. Check. This is all electric power right now. You're probably blinded by these lights. This thing even has a hood sensor. It knows that the hood is up. Unless you're really small, it's hard to get under there once it's off the ramps. It sits very low to the ground. But I did a field test around the perimeter of the filter and the oil drain plug, and it felt totally dry, so I think I'm good to go. So now I'm going to pull it in all the way into the garage so we are level, so we can check the fluid level. Of course, before worrying about the fluid level, I need to get these covers back on. And again, this is easier if you do this while the vehicle is still elevated, for sure. This is mostly going to be by feel, I think. Oh boy, it's going to be fun, especially this back one. The oil filter cover I can reach a little bit better. This one, not so much. Okay. So I have the tab in and I have a bolt in my hand at the same time. I'm going to hopefully start it, which will keep it in place. Okay, here we go. No! Damn it. These are not torqued hardly at all. Hell, I would say you hardly even need to use the socket to tighten it. Okay. Whoops. One down. And we just got the oil filter cover. Okay, tab goes that way. This would be way easier up on ramps. I'm pleasantly surprised that I didn't get oil all over this material, this covering. But I think it helps doing it in the garage. You don't have some of that side swiping wind that seems to blow oil all over me most of the time. Cover's back on. Glamorous. I have less light because I'm now not under the garage light. Okay. So now let's see where our oil level is at. It's funny, little plastic thing at the bottom, or rubber, or whatever. Hopefully I've seen that before. Inserting my stick all the way. Give it a second. Pull it out. Yeah, it looks a little less than a half a quart low, which is kind of what I would expect. There's some oil. I'm adding roughly another half quart. I think we should be pretty close to this point. I don't know if you can see the dipstick. Right there's a quart low, and right there would be full. So. Yep, there we go, right on. Perfect. Okay, stick back in. Put my oil, well, never forget to put your oil cap back on. I actually have forgotten to do that. On my 99 Tacoma, I forgot to put the oil cap back on, and I probably drove excess of 1,000 miles with it off. And I didn't lose the oil cap, but and the truck was still fine afterwards, believe it or not. But yeah, I have done that, so make sure to put yours back on. Okay. There we go. Good, everything. Huh. It's funny, the oil cap has a ratcheting system almost like a gas cap, so when you turn it tight enough, it just will start to ratchet, so you know you have it on securely. There we go. I did check the mileage on this. It's 2,777 miles right now. And after our initial problems that we had on day one, where there was some sort of screw up because the car was at some sort of auto show and they didn't hook a relay up correctly. Other than that, once we got that figured out, car's been perfect. It's been really, really nice. Cindy has loved it. We've had no problems. So yeah, we are both big Hyundai Ioniq fans, and like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we're going to be taking this on a road trip up the East Coast shortly, so we'll get some good highway mileage testing in as well. So hopefully you found this interesting. If you're looking to change the oil on your Ioniq, that's how you go about doing it. Nothing too challenging, a little bit different. You know, it's kind of interesting the way they have everything concealed and covered down there, but it's not a major obstacle. So I guess that's it. Till next time, that's me now.